Charlie and I were out the back when Vera and Dave came by and said, "Come along for a picnic." And I was going, but Charlie said,
Yeah, you know what? Here's a message for Charlie. Oh.
The second round of the 2007 Formula 1 season takes place in some remote place in Malaysia, and after the first race, people are still trying to catch wind of the new McLaren driver Lewis Hamilton, who managed to finish in third in his very first F1 race. But in my opinion, he'll never be as good as Jacques Villeneuve. He finished second in his first race, therefore that makes him hundreds of times better. The qualifying was nothing to shout about, as Felipe Massa took pole position from Fernando Alonso, Kimi Raikkonen, Lewis Hamilton and Nick Heidfeld, while Nico Rosberg stood in sixth waiting to attack the opposition. All I can say at this point is, good luck Nico. With a car like that, you'd be lucky to even get close to the top four. You know, I could use that same quote when I'm talking about Bottas this year. So here we are, 5 lights and maybe I can find a way just to kill this joke. Massa is an okay start and so does Alonso, while Raikkonen keeps Hamilton in order and Alonso overtakes Massa, while the two BMWs try and keep Rosberg from overtaking him, which ultimately works. And then Hamilton overtakes the two Ferraris for second place. This went a lot better than I expected. Get fucked, Ferrari. Look! A Renault is overtaking someone. Living proof. What does Sutil and Sutil both have in common? They both retired from F1 related things recently. 5 points if you actually have an idea of what I'm talking about. Okay, hold the phone. First a Renault is overtaking someone and then a fucking Super Aguri does the same? Am I even awake at this point or am I dreaming? Massa attempts to overtake Hamilton but fails miserably. Why are all Brazilians that have ever come into F1 so fucking terrible and forgettable? And now the Honda's overtaking people? I seriously am contemplating whether I'm actually awake or not. This is really unsettling. Oh, it was because Liuzzi was having a front wing problem. That explains a lot. Take a look at the shot, and then look back at Baku 2016. You see a difference? You don't? So shut up and smell the coffee beans, you F1 doom-mongerers. F1 is just a shit sport in general, so be happy that it's still around. Massa, no Massa, no. Yes! Get in, Lewis! Jesus Christ, that was close. Oh, come on, for fuck's sake. Oh, okay. Are you gonna make your mind up yet? I know Massa is a liability and is never going to win, but for God's sake, could you at least stay in one position? Not again! My stomach is about to twist harder than my dead dog. Who actually doesn't exist. Come on, just keep Massa in working order. Oh, man. That was fun while it lasted. Kimi couldn't even do that with his eyes closed. At least this time we actually now have a Ferrari once again behind a Sauber. And Rosberg tries to overtake someone, but as a lot of Hamilton fans will tell you, he's never overtaken anybody without hitting them. And that all of his wins he's won by cheating. Christian Albers once again showing that a backmarker team that was conceived from a backmarker team that was conceived from a backmarker team is probably not going to do that well. Nico Rosberg overtakes a driver. Now shut the fuck up and accept the fact that Nico does not do that shit. This car is so beautiful. I just want it right now. I want it now. I need it. I require it! It's like 2016 was around all this time. Just proves even more that F1 hasn't become boring in just this year alone. Again, shut it. Fuck off, Raikkonen! Today is not your day. You had this day on Australia, but not today. Ron's strategy of waving signs is surely going to be seen by the driver going at 300 kilometers an hour. Waving faster means they see it more quickly. It's a no-brainer. Rejoice, as this will probably last no longer than a few laps. Hamilton pits, unsurprisingly dropping down from first place. Because that's what happens when you do a pit stop. Okay, now you're taking the piss. Heidfeld in first. I reckon this could actually last longer than Hamilton's lead, and I wouldn't be that surprised. You must overanalyze and use this as a reason to think Hamilton is shit. Yes, I'm allowed to make fun of the people who idolize him and those who hate him. I am allowed to do that. That's what being neutral is. Oh man, look at the gains Hamilton is getting. We're surely going to see a super battle on his hands. If we saw Williams in 6th place today, we'd look at it and think these exact words. Bottas is shit. Sauber once again ahead of the Ferrari. Yes, I'm actually going to continue to refer them as Sauber because it makes their accomplishments sound that much better. Oh, Hakey. I liked you better when you accidentally sent Danny Watts flying into a tyre barrier that one time in Formula Renault. I hope to Gecky you're happy about overtaking a Sauber, you Ferrari degenerate. Always thinking about yourself. You make me sick. Alonso pits, and it's indeed a pit stop. What the fuck else would you expect it to be? Raikkonen pit, and a lot like Fernando's pit stop, it's indeed a pit stop. I am a comedic genius, and nobody can tell me otherwise. Rosberg is shit, and everything is won. He's been fluky. Well, what can I say? Rallying something that gives out their opportunities. You don't go to them, they go to you. Wait, didn't they just show this like 15 laps ago or something? So Toro Rosso's budget is so low that they're actually using film reel for their onboard cameras. They're cutting costs, and there's this shit. When costs are crippling a team, why the fuck not? Fernando Alonso crosses the line to win the Malaysian Grand Prix, with Lewis Hamilton going one better than Australia with a second place finish, only just finishing ahead of Kimi Raikkonen. Yes! Get fucked, Ferrari! And get fucked, Kimi!